Okay, let's dive right into this explainer. Today, we're exploring a world defined by this absolutely striking contrast between blinding artificial illumination and the secrets hiding in the dark. We are looking at the incredibly fascinating narrative of Shadowweaver, a story set in the year 2147 in a sprawling metropolis known as New Elysium. And here, light isn't just used to see. No, it's used to think, to control, and to literally change who you fundamentally are.
I want you to just think about this for a second. What if your personality was just an editable overlay? Imagine if your deepest emotions, your daily moods, and your core traits were simply settings that could be tweaked by some outside force. Like, what if the very essence of who you are wasn't a fixed point on a map, but a digital slider that someone else could just adjust whenever they saw fit? Seriously, how much of you would actually be you?
And that terrifying, yet kind of intriguing question brings us perfectly to Section 1. Welcome to the Glow.
So the glow is the foundational technology of New Elysium. It relies on these things called photonic lattice neural implants, and they are impossibly thin. Like, we're talking no thicker than a single human hair, and they sit right at the base of every citizen's skull. But they don't operate in a vacuum. Instead, they sync directly with ambient light. So what this means is the minds of citizens are constantly being manipulated by their environment, whether it's the smart lamps on the street, those towering holographic displays, or even the perpetual aurora of the orbital advertising arrays. The light itself is rewriting their brain chemistry in real time. It's wild to think about.
But what exactly is being rewritten, right? Well, the glow facilitates mood stabilizers, empathy boosters, and, get this, even creativity dampeners. The state, or the free market really, dictates exactly how you should feel. Are you a bit too sad for maximum productivity? Boom, mood stabilized. Acting a little too rebellious? Creativity dampened. Personalities are completely fluid here. They're heavily engineered to meet the demands of society. You are literally whatever the light tells you to be.
Which leads us directly to Section 2, the art of Shadowweaving.
Now, what's really interesting here is how we meet our protagonist, Elara Voss. Elara is a shadow archivist down in the Undercity, and she absolutely hates her implant. She says it makes her feel like a storefront with glass walls, which is a haunting way to put it. Her mundane everyday job involves cleaning and cropping metadata found in the shadows cast by the city's artificial suns. But one night, her implant glitches, and she discovers this massive, world-breaking anomaly. So how does someone actually hack the human mind? For Elara to successfully shadow weave, 3 conditions have to be met. First, there must be direct, coherent light. Second, the target has to be completely unaware of what's happening. And third, she physically touches their shadow to access their emotional code.
So, Elara's first accidental edit happens in a rain-slicked alley in Sector 7. She basically just touches the shadow of a fired, drunk salaryman, and suddenly, this absolute flood of emotional code pours right into her mind. An edit menu actually floats before her. It shows his aggression is at plus 12%, his loyalty threshold is negative 34%, and his fear response is locked. Without even really thinking, Elara simply drags a mental slider. She drops his aggression and bumps up his loyalty. And immediately, the man's posture completely changes and he walks away with a new spring in his step. She literally edited his mind just through his shadow. Let that sink in.
And this quote perfectly captures Elara's mindset over the next 3 months. The world was already a puppet show of light. She was simply learning to pull different strings. She basically justifies her actions by acting as this secret, unseen editor. She softens cruel streaks, gives timid souls courage, and even forces corrupt politicians to be generous. In her mind, well, the system's already controlling everyone anyway, so why shouldn't she use that exact same system to do some actual good?
But of course, playing God never goes unnoticed, does it? That brings us to Section 3, Meet the Architect.
Enter Dr. Kai Ren. Here we have an absolutely crucial ideological clash. On one side, we have Elara Voss, operating from this gritty, street-level perspective. She values empathy, deep human connection, and honestly, just the messy unpredictability of real life. On the other side, we have Dr. Kai Ren, the actual creator of this entire photonic implant system. He operates more like a top-down operating system himself. He seeks calculated control, rigid stability, and perfect societal harmony. When Elara tries to edit Kai's shadow in a mirrored atrium, she realizes pretty quickly she isn't just looking at a personality. She is looking at an entire operating system. And worse, he feels her doing it.
And Kai has a very specific justification for his top-down control, which is summarized by this one powerful number, 12%. When Kai eventually confronts Elara, he points out that crime has dropped by exactly 12% in the sectors she's been secretly editing. Kai isn't just undoing her edits. No, he's actually been improving them. He's been turning her chaotic acts of kindness into useful societal compliance. In his eyes, if the system can reduce crime and increase productivity, then turning people into, well, better puppets is entirely justified.
And this brilliantly illustrates exactly why Elara is in so much danger right now. She seeks out an undercity tech named Morrow, who explains what she actually is. She's a mirror. Now, most citizens only receive edits from the glow, but a mirror's brain has mutated to transmit edits through bidirectional resonance. Elara is one of only a very few in the entire city, which makes her connection to Kai incredibly dangerous. Because think about it, if she can transmit to him,
He can transmit to her. This is the horrifying reality Elara discovers right in her own shadow. Kai has been artfully, slowly editing her personality from afar. Look at this. He dropped her empathy by 8%, spiked her caution by 22%, and deliberately unlocked an attraction to danger. He is literally sculpting her mind, locking her out of her own subroutines, and turning her own paranoia into a weapon against herself.
This intense psychological warfare builds to an absolute explosive climax in Section 4, the Eclipse Festival Confrontation.
So, tonight is the one night the orbital mirrors shut down for maintenance. We have this eerie, emergency crimson lighting. The shadows grow incredibly long and blood-colored. Honestly, they are the absolute perfect conditions for shadowweaving. Elara finds Kai on the observation deck of the Spire, way high above New Elysium. And the physical and mental duel that happens here is intense. Their shadows literally overlap on the deck floor, merging at the edges as their minds collide like a circuit just snapping open.
During this massive mental collision, Elara finally sees the full picture. Kai isn't just some cartoon villain craving power, right? He experienced severe childhood trauma down in the lightless underlevels. He actually watched his own mother undergo so many state edits that she eventually completely erased her own identity. So his extreme methods for global harmony, they actually stem from this deep, truly tragic desire to ensure no one ever experiences that kind of helpless suffering ever again. It's a profound gray area. As they battle, they are literally rewriting each other in real time. He pushes her doubt and loneliness. She tries to surface his buried empathy. The pacing is absolutely frantic, just two minds dancing in the dark, until Elara gasps as this shocking, forced emotional edit takes hold. Romantic attachment, plus 40%. Kai actually weaponizes intimacy. He forces a sudden flood of warmth and attraction right into her chest. It is a terrifying, deep violation of her emotional core.
But instead of fighting back with another brutal edit, Elara has this incredibly profound realization. She says, I don't want to win. I want to break the illusion that anyone should control it all. She understands that the ability to edit isn't just about control, it's communion. Every touch leaves a fingerprint. So she makes the ultimate choice. She rejects both the attack and the control.
Which brings us to our final section, the beauty of chaos.
In the immediate aftermath of this realization, a wild sequence of events unfolds. First, Elara opens herself fully to Kai, flooding their connection not with clean data, but with shared pain and just human messiness. Second, she touches their combined shadow and releases it, and across the city, the glow goes dark in patches. People destabilize, sure, but they don't break. Actually, they unlock. They laugh, they cry, and they reclaim their chaotic humanity, while Kai's rigidly constructed self finally fractures. And third, in the years that follow, Elara vanishes into the Undercity. She goes there to teach a new generation of mirror minds an absolutely crucial lesson: how to listen more than they change.
The implants remain. Light still rules, but the shadows have finally learned to talk back. Humanity never needed perfect harmony, only the courage to remain unfinished. I really want you to take that away with you today. In a world that is constantly trying to optimize, edit, and perfect us, maybe our true value lies right there, in our messy, unfinished nature. So, what do you think? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and keep exploring the shadows.